We'll get started with security issues. The Army is seemingly entering Stage 3 of Operation Cast Lead, with our forces pushing deeper into Hamas-held territory, despite pressure for a ceasefire and internal trouble with Arabs in Israel.
Tuesday morning, our troops advanced into the suburbs of Gaza City for the first time. Ground troops supported by artillery and helicopters moved into neighborhoods east and south of Gaza City proper. The Navy provided close supports with gunboats shelling the coast from the west. According to the Associated Press, the Tel Hawa neighborhood was taken by a column of tanks which pushed back Hamas forces. A number of fires were started during the fighting, though their exact source remains unclear. It is estimated that around 50 Hamas terrorists were killed in battles in the Gaza City.
The achievements are reached thanks to the warriors, thanks to their courage and their willingness to sacrifice.
Between 9 and 12, the Army declared a humanitarian corridor which would allow Gaza residents to stock up on provisions. Over 100 trucks were allowed to enter the region through the Karni crossing.
We are still seeing the use of ambulances for terror, the use of civilian facilities, mosques, and even taking advantage of the humanitarian convoys, which are used to smuggle terrorists' vehicles.
During the fighting, a paratroopers officer was critically wounded Monday night when an explosive device exploded in a booby-trapped building. 2 other soldiers were lightly to moderately wounded in the incident. The officer was evacuated to the Rabin Medical Center for treatment. It has been cleared for publication that the soldier who was critically wounded in Gaza is Aharon Karov, who joined his comrades at the beginning of the IDF operation only hours after his wedding. He explained then that the current fighting was a milchemet mitzvah, a religiously commanded war, and even a groom must leave his wedding to fight under such circumstances. The public is requested to pray for Aharon Yehoshua ben Chaya Shoshana. 4 other soldiers were wounded Monday night during a friendly fire incident in Gaza. One was seriously wounded, though his condition has been downgraded to moderate. Reservist troops mistook regular soldiers for Hamas terrorists and proceeded to open fire. The current condition of the Hamas forces is unclear, though analysts are speculating Hamas is desperate following a public address by Ismail Haniyeh, where the Gaza Hamas chief declared the terror group would cooperate with any ceasefire initiative which would cause Israel to withdraw and open the crossings into Gaza.
We will relate positively to any initiative which includes the immediate cessation of aggression against our nation and that the Zionist occupation retreats from the Gaza Strip.
In other arenas, Arabs have been acting against Israel. In the city of Kiryat Arba, 3 soldiers were lightly injured Monday night when a Palestinian Authority terrorist fired into their jeep as they patrolled the eastern side of Kiryat Arba. The attacker escaped despite an immediate IDF search of the area. And on the border with Jordan, an unidentified gunman fired at an Israeli border guard patrol from the Jordanian side north of Eilat early this morning. The border guards returned fire. There were no injuries. This is the first shooting in more than a decade in that area. On the diplomatic front, Israel rejected the United Nations Human Rights Council resolution strongly condemning Israel's counter-terrorist operations. The resolution, which is non-binding, was adopted Monday by 33 African, Asian, Arab, and South American states. 13 European states abstained, while Canada was the sole no vote. Israel's foreign ministry rejected the HRC resolution as irrelevant and one-sided. At the same time, UN Chief Ban Ki-moon called for a ceasefire with Israel withdrawing from Gaza and Hamas ending rocket fire.
I expect the parties now meeting in Cairo to do what is required. They must agree to the elements of an immediate ceasefire. At a minimum, that means a halt to rocket attacks by Hamas militants and the withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza.
Earlier in the day, a resident of Sderot appeared before the UN and questioned why it was only when Israel was fighting back that the UN attempted to stop the fighting.
I come from Sderot, the city in Israel that for 8 years have been terrorized by 10,000 rockets fired against us from Gaza. As a law student, I learned and I believe that all human beings have the right to peace and security. But when I see today's resolution, I ask, why is the United Nations ignoring my suffering? When the terrorists committed this 10,000 violation of international human rights, and humanitarian law. Why was the UN silent? Are human rights for some, but not others?